Mr. X with Extreme Collectibles here. Gonna try and get through this review, but I'm not feeling very well. So this is kind of monumental. We're really close to 3,000 subscribers. Pretty cool after 6.5. Oh God, I just don't feel good. Must be something I ate. Anyway.
What do you want? We are Venom.
Extreme Collectibles here. I'd like to thank the Academy. But after I do that, I want to get into, this is a review of Sideshow's Venom life-size bust. This is their newest Venom bust. They do have an old one. I don't know if it's legendary or full scale. Someone can comment on that. And this is actually my second Venom bust. I have a custom one that is very, very different. Let me throw it up here. So I keep this one in my office with a few different heads, a Spider-Man and a Carnage head. And this guy I purchased because I love Venom. He's one of my top 5 favorite characters. I have a huge Venom wall of quarter scale pieces at my office and XM Venom behind me. And I also have a horror wall of villains, and I was trying to stay away from comic stuff for that, but I ended up getting Thanos. He's gonna go there. This Venom's gonna go there. And I originally saw him at NYCC. I wasn't there, but I saw videos and pics and I fell in love instantly with most of it. But I didn't end up buying it, and then a buddy of mine wanted to get rid of his pre-order. So I got the mentality, okay, I'll take it over, but Sideshow thought we were trying to commit credit card fraud, so they canceled the order. Well, then I had it in my head that I wanted this guy, so I ended up purchasing him. They don't have an edition size for this, so it's a limited edition. I don't know how many they're going to make, how many they're going to order, because it is a pricey bust, not necessarily when you compare it to some other companies, but it is $1,200. Shipping, I don't even remember how much it was. I don't think it was too bad, but came in a giant box with a lot of giant pieces. Sideshow does not do an art box, so that was the same case here. But it was packed really well. The styrofoam was built around the piece. I was going to do an assembly video because the assembly is just the tongue. So you actually could display it without the tongue, but there's a big hole, magnet hole, keyhole, whatever you want to call it, in the middle. And the tongue looks awesome, so definitely want to display it with that. I like some Venoms with the tongue and some without. Kind of depends. Like, you know, I like the Bagley portrait without. So it just varies, but I think this one looks really good with the tongue. And yeah, so that's kind of most of the background info. Let's get some measurements on him. He's pretty big, as you can see. He's about 21 inches wide, tall guy, 27 inches high, and depth, probably from the front of his face, about 18 inches. If you would like exact dimensions, please go to sideshow.com or sideshowtoys.com. Just Google Sideshow Venom and you'll find it. But yeah, really excited to have him in person. He smelled kind of funky coming out, but I imagine Venom doesn't smell very good in real life. So let's dive right into, you know, this is a little bit of a different review conceptually, and especially when we get to the paint and sculpt, because it's just a bust. So a lot of times when I do a review, especially on paint and sculpt, we start at the bottom and we end with the portrait. Well, here's going to be the portrait pretty much when we get to that. But I like the fact that they did kind of a comiquette-esque Venom. So very true to the comics, very nasty, almost Delato-like. And it's really showing his raw, Venom-like, animalistic characteristics. So one of the things I talk about a lot is I have a number of Venoms, you know, such as XM, the ones I have, and a whole bunch more customs coming next month, actually. And I kind of classify Venom as kind of a humanoid Venom, very human-like. I classify XM like that. or very creature-like, like Sideshow's OG. I think that's very creature-like. And I think both are good representations of Venom. You know, growing up, Lethal Protector, all that, I think I still have those comics, more humanoid. But I think the recent Marvel film that came out, it was more creature-like Venom, which is neat too. And I think both my busts are kind of creature-like, but I'm okay with that. They're not being displayed in the same building anyway. But conceptually and design-wise, I don't like this base, and that's one of the reasons I didn't pull the trigger right away. I don't like it. I understand it gets it higher. I think they could have filled this in more, especially the fact they're cutting off the spider symbol on the front and the back. So I think that's a big miss. The back, here's a picture of it. I think it looks horrible. Thankfully, it'll be against a wall, so nobody will see it. So that's my big one problem with the concept and the design. And then also, you know, the edges that it has here, it's just kind of cut off. Where, you know, when I'm looking at some of my other busts, some are very similar, but some, you know, at least kind of hide that from the public, like it would come down a little bit, the texture and the suiting and things like that. So I think they did miss some opportunity on that, especially when you're pushing a $1,200 bust. However, the sculpt and paint on it, I think, kind of makes up for that. It's a very, very cool piece. There's a lot of different takes on Venom, as I was talking about earlier, not just on whether it's, you know, creature-like or humanoid, but as far as his shades and veins and sculpt and things like that. So it's gonna be weird to kind of go through this because it's a bust, but starting on his front here, first you see the spider symbol. So first of all, it is jutting out. Some Venoms, it's ingrained in the suit, some it's jutting out, and I like the paint they used on it. It's this grayish, whitish, you know, with streaks of black in there. So it doesn't make it too white like some of the suits do. I do like that. I think that was a good move. And then the sculpt all over the symbiotic suit is kind of moving. You know, it's not, you know, tight to his skin. It's kind of all over. Some are from muscles, some are from, you know, veins. And it's a solid black color. So they didn't put any hinges of blue on the suit, which I think is a little bit of a miss. I think there's a tiny bit of blue that needs to be added to Venom. Some people overdo it. And same thing with his back, spider symbol sticks out, and then here it's not as much as the symbiote moving, but you can see a lot of veins moving all the way up to the head. And again, you're not really going to be looking at the back. I'm not a fan of the back of his head. It almost looks like he has a fat fold, like those bald fat people you see. If you're one of those, I apologize that you have to deal with that. I don't apologize for saying it. And then moving back to his front here, like right around his neck, these are some of the symbiotic features I was talking about. Just looks like crap everywhere, but because it's Venom, it actually looks good. And then I want to start at his eyes here. Good eyes, not great eyes. I like the kind of resin they put over it and then also around it. And usually there's more of a bluish color where there's just black dots inside of here. So I think that's a little bit of an opportunity they missed, but it still looks good. I think it just varies a little bit from Venom. And if you guys haven't noticed, I've been kind of reviewing here and here and here and here, and I've been avoiding this because this is what makes this statue. Everything about the mouth is a complete knockout of the park. I'm a huge fan of it. I think that Sideshow, I think they just did a great job. On a side note too, no quality issues with this, so I really appreciate that. Seems rare nowadays. But let's start looking at the mouth. So first, in kind of where his mouth is separating at the top, first you see kind of the interior gums. I love the dark red that they used on that, kind of mixed with the black, and you see the clear resin running down like drool and saliva all over, and that's completely all over Venom, and it looks fantastic. It really makes it pop from his tongue to his gums to his chin to his teeth. I think there was more of this in the pictures of the prototype in New York last year, but it still looks really good and it's not overpowering, so I'm kind of glad they didn't go more. And then looking at his gums here, again you can see the same saliva dripping down his chin. And the gums are a little bit lighter than that area we were looking at earlier, but still a good dark color. and it's only complemented by his teeth. They're different sizes and shapes and jutting out everywhere, and some seem broken, some aren't. And I think the flow of the saliva looks great too, and the coloring on the teeth is perfect Venom. Nasty, disgusting, something really scary you'd think you'd see. And the same thing is on the top as well. You can see some of the saliva dripping down. This is really a scary, scary Venom, which I think is awesome. And then looking at his tongue, again, completely covered with that clear resin, but I love the texture on it. I love the coloring, even a little bit lighter than the gums, but not much. It gets darker where it curls at the end. And there's kind of that flow to the saliva that looks like it would make sense if you think about physics and gravity. And just some different layering. Really, really good job. As I said, sometimes I like a tongue on a Venom and sometimes I don't. And a lot of quarter scale statues give you multiple options, which is cool. So, but awesome. So one thing I want you guys to comment on today, if you're willing, is what's the best Venom piece out there? Doesn't matter scale, size, bust, you know, full action figure. What's in your opinion the absolute best one in hand? There's quite a few custom shipping, but or you know, being made right now. So in hand production pieces, what is the best Venom out there? I think personally it's Prime 1. Yeah, currently, and it's a close race. I'll definitely say that. Prime 1 quarter scale Dark Origins Venom. So really appreciate you guys watching. If this is your first time watching the channel, again, you're welcome for my great acting skills at the beginning, but I hope you subscribe. I drop cool shit like this quite often, every other day at a minimum. And with that, I will talk to you guys later. Take care.